In a world where we're constantly connected, it's easy to overlook the hidden cost of our screen time. But what if the very devices designed to make our lives easier are actually disrupting our health, particularly our hormones? In this eye-opening conversation, I sat down with Justin High, wellness entrepreneur and author of the upcoming book, Stress Nation, to explore how our tech-obsessed culture is silently hijacking our hormones, impairing sleep, and fueling anxiety, especially for women in midlife. Justin shares not only scientific insights on cortisol, the body's master stress hormone, but also his personal journey sparked by his wife's health crisis. Together, we unpacked how chronic screen exposure and overstimulation are reshaping our biology and what you can do to reclaim your health in a digital age. So, friend, if you've ever wondered why you're tired, wired, and feeling hormonally off, then grab a notebook and pen and let's dive in. Hey friend, welcome to Integrative Medicine for Energy and Health. Are you struggling with low energy, excessive weight, chronic fatigue, imbalanced hormones, or body aches and pains that are robbing you of enjoying life? If you're ready to take the guesswork out of living a healthier life, you're in the right place. Hi, I'm Rakesia. I'm a mom, honorably retired Air Force veteran, award-winning author, social worker, and Christian alternative medicine provider. For years, I tried improving my health through conventional medicine and nothing worked until I finally found a simple strategy that was easy and fun. This podcast will provide you with natural ways to increase energy, lose weight, regulate hormones, and improve your mood. If you're ready to live, look, and feel better, grab your favorite cup of herbal tea and let's jump in. Welcome to Integrative Medicine for Energy and Health, the podcast where we explore holistic strategies to help you reclaim your vitality, balance your hormones, and live with purpose. I'm your host, Rakesia McMillan, and on today's show, we're diving into a powerful and eye-opening topic: how technology is hijacking our hormones. I am so excited about my special guest today, Justin High. He's an entrepreneur, wellness innovator, and author of his upcoming book, Stress Nation, which is set to release on September the 15th. Justin brings a unique perspective on how our screen-obsessed culture is silently disrupting our cortisol levels, wrecking our sleep, and leaving many, especially women in midlife, feeling anxious, exhausted, and hormonally out of sync. If you've been feeling burned out, overstimulated, or just not quite yourself, this episode is just for you. And I hope that you enjoyed this interview just as much as I did doing it. So grab your journal, take a deep breath, and let's uncover how to restore balance in a tech-driven world. So welcome to today's show, Justin.
Thank you so much for having me on your show. I really appreciate it.
Oh, and again, I am honored to have you. It is a pleasure to have you. And so when I saw the title of your book, Stress Nation, and just, your journey and how this all came about. And so I know that we shared a little bit that your wife, she had been diagnosed with Cushing's syndrome. And so how did this really shape your mission and your research on cortisol and hormonal health?
Oh, absolutely. So in the skincare company that we started, Elastin Skincare, we had our initial formulation leveraging hormones. So we actually had HGH in the formulation originally of Elastin Skin Nectar. We quickly pivoted when doctors didn't really respond well. They didn't like the systemic effect. And so we pivoted to peptides, and, Elastin was a successful venture. So we've always had this intrigue into endocrinology and hormone health. And in 2018, 2019, when we really started looking at this marketplace, we were really fascinated by the peptides in the space. And HRT was beginning to take off, but not as fast as it is today or as rapid as it is today. And then something kind of crazy happened around 2019, 2020. The government reclassified all those peptides as biologics, and they were no longer suitable for human consumption, which changed the marketplace. And that's when HRT really began to skyrocket. And so I started taking a deeper dive into the hormone market and what was going on. And I was just really fascinated with cortisol. It was a hormone that just stuck out like a sore thumb to me, primarily because every molecule in the human body pretty much has a cortisol receptor. And so when cortisol is elevated, you feel it from your head to your toe. You feel it everywhere. And no other hormone really functions in the same way. And as I got deeper and deeper into cortisol, I realized that there was a unique connection that really isn't discussed or talked about. And yeah, the media gets hold of, catchphrases that are complete nonsense, like cortisol face and things like that, which basically you're just swollen and puffy. It has nothing to do with cortisol levels. But somehow TikTok took it over and the media took it over and everyone's talking about cortisol face. And there's nothing to that, really. And if you do have Cushing's and you have a swollen face, that's for a medical reason, of which there's a very, very small percentage of the population that has it, and not the masses like it's been implied. So what is that connection? Real simple. When cortisol is elevated and stays elevated, you find it impossible to fall asleep quickly. And you find it even more challenging to stay asleep. Mm-hmm. And this is a very key component. Everyone's like, well, yeah, everyone stayed in bed with monkey brain and, keep thinking about what I have to do today, tomorrow, the next day, and so forth. But the missing piece is this. Your body is designed to make your hormones in your sleep. Yes. And if you're not getting uninterrupted 7 to 8 hours of sleep every day, your body is unable to make the amount of hormones that you need to function the next day. That's why you do an all-nighter or you party too hard or you've done something. The next day, you're dragging. Yeah, your energy's low. We think about it, but we don't realize the actual cause and effect in the body is you didn't give your body a chance to recover during sleep, and it wasn't able to produce the testosterone, the progesterone, and the estrogen that you need to function the next day because you make your hormones on a 24-hour basis. Mm-hmm. It's really that straightforward. And so when we don't get sleep, we're on a hormone deficit, and consistent disruptions in sleep or wake ups in the night or just not getting the 7 to 8 hours that we need, you're on a downward spiral. And that's when everything starts to show up. And you can list almost every symptom that I'm sure everyone complains about. And it's the reason why. Whether it's brain fog, weight gain, stubborn fat around our midsection, hair loss, skin issues, libido issues, anxiety, it's all stemming from a lack of sleep.
And I always say, Justin, that sleep truly is medicine, and we don't realize how impactful not getting enough sleep is. And I think I saw one statistic regarding Alzheimer's and sleep in women, and it was showing that 75% of those who are diagnosed with Alzheimer's are women, and it's due to lack of sleep.
Not surprising, to be quite honest. Sleep is key for men and women, but it's not just sleep. It's uninterrupted quality sleep that's consistent. You can't catch up on sleep. I need to catch up on my sleep. I'll take a nap here and nap there. Doesn't work that way, unfortunately. The human body is designed around a natural circadian rhythm, which involves the same cycles as the moon and the sun. We're designed to go to bed when the sun goes down, and we're designed to wake up when the sun comes up. It's really that straightforward. And everything else that we're doing is based on entitlement and self-indulgence, and not based on what the human body needs. That doesn't mean that you need to be a Buddhist monk and live your life in a very particular rigid way. There's always ebbs and flows. But if you understand the cause and effect and how it affects your body, you can start making adjustments.
Mm-hmm. And one of the things that you were sharing that is impacting the cortisol level so much is the digital devices, the technology, Justin.
100%.
please just dive a little bit deeper into that.
Well, that is the reason behind Stress Nation. So we started a company called Rebalance Health, and we have lozenges, clinical studies, double-blind placebo studies, and we can go into that in a bit, focused on supporting cortisol. But the idea behind the book was the why behind the company. And so we understand the cortisol, we understand the cause and effect, but we want to know how we got here. And we got here very quickly. It's only been 30 years since the iPhone, the internet, email, social media was invented. Prior to that, we didn't have that kind of indulgence into the digital world. And what that technology has done in the past 30 years has accelerated the pace of life.
Mm.
It's evolved and it's a wonderful tool. Don't get me wrong, I have nothing against the internet, the digital age, the iPhones, and all the other technology that's out there. But we weren't taught how to use it responsibly as human beings and how it affects our biology. And what's happening is we have become addicted like a drug to the speed of communication, the accessibility of content, and we are addicted to it. When that device makes a sound or an alert mechanism, we all get anxiety and our cortisol goes up until we answer it and we figure out, is it good news? Is it bad news? We've all had schools call us and our kids are at school. And when you see that caller ID, your cortisol skyrockets because you don't know what's happened and you get into instant parental protection mode. Right? This is what's happened is our world has been taken over by these devices, by these alerts, by these messages, whether it's work related, entertainment related, or just, anything in between. And because we're addicted to these devices, our cortisol are constantly elevated beyond the levels they should be at. And we've not learned how to unwind from that, learn when to use it correctly, how to prepare for sleep and protect our sleep. And consequently, what's happening is there's now technology in the phones and in the devices that they call as, screen time. But what do? It's for our kids. It's not for us. It's right now. Now, kids, they get like 30 minutes, maybe an hour, 2 hours as they start to grow. You give them a little bit more. But us as adults and parents, we don't think about using it for ourselves because we need it to work. We need it to put money in the bank so we can put food on the table and a roof over our head. And we justify the use of using it. And that justification sneaks into social media. Then it starts sneaking into, I'm just watching a video. It sneaks into, I'm going to binge watch 16 episodes of whatever show I'm watching this weekend versus go back 30 years, go back 40 years. We used to go to video stores. We used to wait till it opens. If we were lucky, there was a copy of the video behind the actual cover, right? And there were two or three in the video store, and you were lucky you would get one. You'd watch that weekend with the family, right? You didn't go home with 15 videos. Right? You went home with one, maybe you went home with two. You wanted to watch the news, there was a news hour. There wasn't a news station, let alone 24 hours a day. When I was a kid, the national anthem and the flag was waving on the screen at midnight, and then 12:30 it was snow. There was static on the screen. There was no shows to watch unless you had a VHS, of which no one really leveraged at that time. So it's just small examples of how the world has changed. It's sped up. And this technology is amazing, but we haven't evolved as human beings. I'm sorry. Don't care what anyone says. We're still the same people we were hundreds and hundreds of years ago before we had these devices, and our bodies functioned much better. Farm to table food, no pesticides, no plastics, and no digital devices causing us this chronic cortisol levels that are causing us to have exacerbated symptoms. And you talked about perimenopause and menopause. Absolutely correct. The number one reason why menopausal women are suffering with basically exacerbated symptoms today is a lack of sleep, directly related to their cortisol levels. Proven that because we have clinical studies proving it.
And that's so good that you mentioned that because many women that I work with, Justin, one of the underlying is like they cannot sleep. And so you're really giving me some information to really start rethinking like how much technology is involved in your lifestyle that could really be impacting their hormones and causing all of these imbalances.
Absolutely. And you know, as a doctor, that HRT is a fabulous solution, but HRT doesn't solve for cortisol. It doesn't solve for stress and certainly doesn't solve for sleep. Yes, if you testosterone deficient, testosterone can certainly help you with your sleep patterns, but there's a lot more that goes into it. There's no magic pill. And I think that's the problem we all face today is everyone wants a magic instantaneous solution. And unfortunately, there's some level of responsibility that goes along with getting the outcome you're looking for, which involves good quality sleep hygiene, what you put in your body, how you exercise, being out in the sun and physically standing up and getting out of that chair on a regular basis.
Mhm. And so you were just touching on some of those strategies. So for any woman that might be listening right now, Justin, that is in this space, where would you recommend that she start?
Well, the first thing I would recommend is selfishly is to go to Rebalance Health and look at the what we call the Mint solution. We've done so many studies, and the last two studies we did, we were invited to the North American Menopause Society to present in front of thousands and thousands of doctors at their annual meeting because the study outcomes were unprecedented. We had 100% efficacy, meaning every single woman over 300 in our studies saw improvements in a reduction of perimenopause symptoms, namely hot flashes. And the average woman saw an 80% reduction in hot flashes using our product. Okay. This is a mint lozenge. There's nothing in this thing other than natural herbs and roots, ashwagandha, maca, L-theanine, those types of things. You put them in your mouth, you suck on them. It's a lozenge, tastes like a mint, little herbal mint, and that's it. And you take them throughout the day.
Mhm.
Why is this important? Okay. We're not going to stop using technology, people, right? We're just not. It's part of our life. And so we have to learn to keep our cortisol levels in the normal ranges and not be in a constant elevated fight or flight state. And these lozenges help keep you in that lower cortisol normal range. And basically what happens is it supports keeping you in that parameter throughout the day. So high in the morning, low in the afternoon, and as little as possible at night with cortisol levels. Then you want to start looking at sleep. How can I set myself up to be successful for sleep? So you have to have a real honest conversation about what's realistic and what's not. And it has nothing to do about what time you go to bed. It has everything to do with what can you do to optimize your sleep so you try to get the 7 to 8 hours of uninterrupted sleep. Now you might wake up a few times as you get started, but hopefully as you progress, it'll get better and better and better. The idea here is the 2 or 3 hours before you go to bed, you want to make sure that is your winding down time. If you're going to watch TV, wear blue light glasses, right? Ideally, stay away from screens and technology that emit blue light that emulates sunlight, which tricks your body into releasing cortisol, right? So you've got to kind of set yourself up for success. Don't eat or drink too much, in the later hours of the evening before you go to bed. As I've gotten more in line with what is actually happening in my body as I turn 50, I realized, well, if I have a heavy meal and a lot of fluids before I go to bed, my bladder's going to tell me to wake up sometime in the night and go use the bathroom. So ideally, if you can set yourself up so you go to bed on an empty bladder and an empty stomach, that would be better for you. It's kind of logical, right? Let's not do a run or do a heavy workout within 2 or 3 hours of going to bed. Why? When you work out, your cortisol levels raises. So again, it's learning to understand when the best time to do certain things are. And as we get older, it's harder. It's much, much harder because our bodies are aging and there's nothing that we can do about it. Yeah, you might look like you're 30, but inside you're not. You're 50 or 60 and your body is slowing down. You're not making the hormones that you need. And we're all fascinated with estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone. But there's what, 49, 50 hormones in the body that all contribute to the wellness of the human body throughout the 24-hour period. And it is imperative that we get support to our body at night and help ourselves recover through sleep.
Mhm. You were mentioning how we need to shift our mindsets.
Yeah.
What is one daily habit that can help to possibly shift those mindsets, Justin?
Oh my goodness. One, um, well, there's a couple of them. Um, for me, a wake up call for a lot of people is to actually track your calories. And I tell you why. When you're not getting sleep, your body spits off more hormones that kind of trick you into saying you're hungry
Mm.
and you need more food to stay awake. And that starts off that cycle of gaining weight, losing muscle mass, feeling sluggish and tired. And so, a really good starting point is to track your calories, not forever, for a week, for a few days, and realize where your calories are coming from. Track your sleep. See how good your sleep quality is. We all know about the devices, whether it be the Aura Ring, the Whoop, the Apple Watch, whatever you want to use to track your sleep. None of them are terribly accurate, to be quite honest. But if you stick to one, you have consistency in the same app and you'll get like a baseline. But tracking your sleep is really important. People say, should I track my cortisol? That's almost impossible to do. Yes, you can take a cortisol blood test, but that's literally like a snapshot in time. Were you having a stressful morning? Did you get a bad night's sleep? Did you almost get in an accident on the way to get the blood drawn? Are you afraid of needles? And that will spike your cortisol. So that's kind of a bad one. Saliva, again, bad one. Urine, bad one. The best one is a 24-hour urine test, which requires you to carry a jug around and urinate into that for 24 hours. And that'll give you an average. But it's really not a good metrics from a day to day. You know if you slept well, you know if you haven't. And so simply tracking your deep sleep, your REM sleep, your light sleep, those are the metrics that I like to use because if you're getting good quality sleep, your body is making the hormones it needs to function. And especially for perimenopausal women, that is the secret. And you'll be like, I can't get to sleep because I'm so hot, or I'm having hot flashes, or I'm having this or that. Totally get it. I totally understand it. I'm not just saying that, by the way. I actually took my estrogen to zero so I could experience hot flashes. I lasted about a month, couldn't take it. It was unbearable. So I'm probably one of the few guys in the world that can actually tell you, I actually know what it's like to have hot flashes, and it is no joke. And I couldn't imagine doing it for 7 to 14 years, let alone, the 4 weeks that I did it for. So honestly, Rebalance Health Menomint lozenges is the only supplement on the market with clinical studies proven to work. Don't be fooled by companies that say, we've got this 10 studies on these ingredients and we have those ingredients in our product. They didn't test their product, and not all ingredients are equal, and the capsule pills and the coatings are not treated equal. And so it's all bogus. We challenge any company. We have done the research on the ingredients, yes. But we also did the studies, and we spent a lot of money doing double blind placebo, IRB studies, open label studies, blind studies, and we've been published by medical journals. So our product has been tested to the nth degree, and we have results. And I stand by those results 100%. The average person sees an improvement in sleep within a week and see hot flashes reductions in about 14 to 30 days. And we get testimonials and calls and emails on a daily basis saying, you've changed my life.
And that's the end goal, just the quality of life and improving, the health of women overall.
Absolutely. And not to bring this, it's not a sex issue, it's not a gender issue at all, but men go through the same suffering as women do, and often a little bit more quietly.
Mhm.
They don't experience menopause, but they experience andropause. And that's why men between 30 and 70 tend to see, again, they start losing muscle mass, they start gaining weight, they have hair issues, they have libido issues, and it affects men as well. But admittedly, women go through it at 100 times greater intensity in a shorter period of time. And that is why the symptoms are so severe because it's condensed into literally a 7 to 14-year period versus men have it literally in a 40-year period. So it's much, much, much subtle. And I give an example. A lot of men throw the covers off themselves at night. I'm hot, and they blame their partner. You're making me hot or something. They're having a hot flash. That's a male hot flash right there, right? It's nothing in contrast to women, right? They would be sweating. They have changed their clothes. They can't function. Totally understand that. Guys, it's just a momentary, oh, I feel a little hot, and they'll throw the covers off themselves. And that's what they go through.
You said that there are so many women that are being helped. Is there one particular testimony that stands out the most to you with women who have found relief with the work that you're doing?
Yeah, I mean, there's multiple. I mean, there really is. I got two examples. One woman was going through chemo.
Mm.
When you go through chemo, you cannot go on HRT. And basically, they were stripping her estrogen to zero, right, for the next 10 years or what have you. And her hot flashes were out of control. And literally, it was within a week, she started noticing a significant difference in her quality of her life. And she was raving about it. And that review's on our website. And there's a video testimonial there. Another lady was in shorts and a tank top outside on her balcony in the middle of a blizzard with a neck fan around her. And so she was sweating. And she was spending anywhere between $500 and $700 a month trying to find solutions to eliminate the hot flashes. And she was gaining weight and she couldn't understand why nothing was working for her. And she tried our product. And within a week, she was like, what is in this stuff? And I'm like, honestly, nothing. It is just, we've got so many quality ingredients formulated by doctors that we put together. It's our proprietary own formulation. We disclose everything, so there's no secrets around what's in it. And we just took into consideration a couple of factors. Those factors include delivery, and the second one was metabolism. And you cannot control cortisol with one pill a day. It's not viable unless you're a pharmaceutical. Why is it not viable? Well, your metabolism is designed to utilize whatever you put in the body every 4 to 6 hours. That's why you have breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Okay? If you have pain medication, you have flu medication, even antibiotics, take them every 4 to 6 hours. Why? Your metabolism breaks it down and utilizes them. So when we formulated the product, it was like a cough drop. It's like take them throughout the day as you need them, ideally anywhere between 4 and 6 lozenges. And as you can tell, I've got one in my mouth. I've been sucking on it the whole time. It's no big deal. It tastes like an Altoid. You suck on it. It's like chewing gum, what have you. And it helps keep you even. Anyway, this woman was like, this is unbelievable. I cannot believe that you have been able to cure my hot flashes in literally 2 to 3 weeks. And then a few months later, she got back to me and goes, I'm down 2 pant sizes. And I'm like, of course you're down 2 pant sizes. And she's like, I didn't think that I would lose weight on this. I'm like, you're losing weight because your body isn't in fight and flight. If your body's in fight and flight, it shuts down metabolism. It shuts down libido. Why? Because you don't need those when you're running for your life from a saber-toothed tiger or a burning building. That's what cortisol's for. And so your metabolism is slowed right down. When you get your cortisol back into normal levels, guess what? Your body starts to function normally again and starts to turn on metabolism. It's quite funny. We had in a clinical study, we had people write journals and notes, and we see about a 40% improvement in libido. And this woman goes, I feel like I'm 18 again. My husband wants to buy stock in the company. Like, what have you done? And they said, nothing. We have just helped you kind of realign with your true, authentic self without the toxification of cortisol in your body that is preventing you from sleeping, preventing you from making the hormones naturally. That's the key word, naturally, because you are supposed to make less and less and less of the hormones as you age. But if you have no sleep, you're actually suppressing what little you make even further. So by getting the sleep, you're actually making the right amount of hormones for the point in your life that you're at currently. Now, if you need to augment that with HRT once you're getting the sleep, absolutely, I'm a big proponent for it. But not everyone needs it. And I think right now, HRT is the new Botox.
No, it's true because you hear it everywhere, you see it everywhere, but not really addressing the cortisol levels that are key.
The real issue is cortisol and sleep being
Mhm.
intensified by the world that we live in and the pace that we're living it at. That's it.
Mhm.
If you break it down that way, you're like, kind of makes sense.
Really does. And so, for those women that are listening, Justin, and they're like, I want to be able to experience this, where's your website? Where can they get your book? Where do they find you?
That's very kind. So you can find us at rebalancehealth.com. This is not an expensive product. We deliberately made this available to the masses. It's $40 a month. Like it's not a $200, $300, $400 product. It's very much affordable. The book is available for pre-order on Amazon.com, or you can go to stressnationbook.com. And the book will be on the shelves and around the nation in September. But you can pre-order today. And that's it. And if I may, I'll point out one last thing. So halfway through my journey of developing this product, my wife was diagnosed with Cushing's. So it happened during the journey. So talk about the universe hitting me over the head and say, you're on the right path, but let's make sure you get it right. And we'll put the loved one on the line. My wife was diagnosed with Cushing's, and it was life threatening for her. It was this very, very, very serious condition. The pharmaceuticals were not working. And so I doubled my efforts. I like to talk about the fact that I didn't compromise the integrity of the product for something I wouldn't do anyway, but my wife now depended on me finding a solution. And so no corners were cut. We used the best ingredients, the best quality production, manufacturing. We make sure the packaging is perfect for the ingredients, so it doesn't get affected by the light or the air whilst it's being waiting on the shelves for a consumer to get it. We have made sure that every aspect of this product is top notch because everyone deserves something that actually works. When we know that 90 to 95% of supplements never enter the body, we just urinate them out. And so, in a market filled with smoke and mirrors, we really wanted to be the exception.
Mhm. And so, if there was one last word of advice that you could offer, Justin, to those who are listening, what would that be?
Hug as many people as you can find.
Mm.
Nothing lowers your cortisol more than giving someone else a hug and hold on until they let go. I actually learned this the other day that the Disney characters in Disneyland are trained
Mhm.
to hug all the kids if the kids want to be hugged, but they're not allowed to let go until the kid lets go.
Mm.
And it's been proven time and time and time again. Hug your partner, your friends, your family, your pets. Nothing brings cortisol down like that emotional connection, which we've lost post-COVID. So my advice is, reach out and touch someone, hug someone, and spread love and warmth. God knows we need it as a world.
We do. We do. Well, Justin, it has been my absolute pleasure hosting you on the show today. So thank you so much, Justin, for your work,
Thank you.
transforming so many lives. It's truly been a pleasure.
Thank you so much, Rakisha. I really appreciate it.
Hey, friend, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If so, would you take 30 seconds and share it with a friend who may want to have more energy and improve their health naturally? Also, I would love it if you could leave a quick review for the show on Apple Podcasts. It blesses me tremendously to know that this podcast is helping you. Alrighty then, it's time to go make a protein shake and go for a hike. No more days of feeling tired and drained. I'll see you in a few days for another episode. God bless.